Hello and welcome to my 2017 Honda Civic EXT 6-speed sedan, the turbo engine with the 6-speed manual. So I ordered this car about a month ago, and it came in just a couple days ago, so I took delivery, and we'll go around the car, take a look at some of the features it has, and then we'll go for a drive, and I'll give you some of my first impressions on the car. Okay, so being that it's the EXT sedan, it has the chrome grille here, and I might black it out at some point, but for now I'm just going to leave it chrome, because I kind of like the look of it. I did already switch out the fog light bulbs for yellow ones, and I want to switch out the headlight bulbs to either HID or LED at some point in the future. And I did tell the dealership not to wash it when it came in, just because I don't want any scratches and swirls in it. So I detailed the car this morning, and I applied a paint sealant, and it turned out really, really well. I was kind of concerned about getting white because I'm not a huge fan of white cars, but this pearl just looks so good in the sunlight. I don't know if this camera is picking it up, but I will insert some still shots from my DSLR. It just sparkles and shines so much in the sunlight. It is awesome. I also cleaned the wheels and tires, so those look pretty nice. And I still have to remove the residue here on the window from the window sticker. And then I added the turbo decals. They're Canadian spec. The US models don't get those, so I threw them on. And then around the back, I removed the Civic emblem, but I'm still trying to take off the adhesive. It is like really stuck on there, and I'm struggling to get it off, so I've got a couple different things I'm going to try to remove that. But other than that, I think it looks really sharp, looks great in the sunlight. Alright, so we'll go ahead and go for a drive. So this has the black interior, which isn't super common on the white cars. Usually it has beige, but I really like the white, and I think it has a nice contrast with the white. So one thing I immediately noticed on this car is if the parking brake is on, when you go to go somewhere, it automatically releases, which is really handy. So when you get behind the wheel of the Civic Turbo, one of the first things you'll notice is that it's very easy to drive. The clutch is just easy to use, and it's easy to get used to. Very unlike my Accord V6 that had a weird clutch and there was not a lot of feel to it. It was difficult to modulate, but it's a totally different story in this car. So I'm really happy about that. Also, the shifter has a great feel to it. It's still kind of stiff, but it seems to be loosening up as the car kind of breaks in. I've only got 150 miles on it so far, and it's already starting to kind of loosen up, and it feels much better than it did when I first drove the car. Also, this is very quiet. I would even say this is quieter than my Accord. It's just really nice and refined in here, and it just doesn't feel like a Civic at all. It doesn't feel like a small, cheap car anymore. So that's really nice. It's almost as fun to drive as my SI, but not quite. It just doesn't have kind of the level of eagerness that car had. You know, this is kind of more refined, and it just doesn't have that eager, sharp feel to it. But I will say the steering in this is very responsive, and the brakes are pretty responsive as well. I haven't gotten on it too much yet since it's not broken in, but as far as the power goes, it's pretty good. I may do the ECU reflash from Honda at some point in the future, but if I decide to do that, I'm going to wait until I have some miles on the car, maybe even wait until the warranty goes up, or it expires, so that I can do that and not really have to worry about voiding any warranty coverage. I looked at the Mazda 3 as well before I bought this car, and one of the things I really liked about that vehicle was the interior, and I kind of viewed this as a bit of a step down, but now that I've lived with it even just for a couple days, I really like this interior. It is super awesome. The instrument cluster is LCD in the middle, so that's nice, and also the audio system here is very easy to reach, and the climate controls are also very easy to reach. The center console is super high up, but the cup holders are low, so it really doesn't interfere a lot with shifting, so I like that a lot as well. And This car did not come from the factory with a leather steering wheel or shift knob, so I actually bought the leather steering wheel rim from a Civic EXL. I'm going to have one of the guys at work install it some night, so that'll be awesome. And then I also have my Acura TL knob on here, which is leather wrapped. So I'm not a huge fan of leather seats in a car like this, especially I prefer cloth, but I really like the leather wrapped steering wheel and shift knob, so I'm glad that I'll get to have both of those. There is a bit of turbo lag when you're shifting. It's mainly at lower RPM, but even kind of in the higher ranges there, you do get some turbo lag. There's just kind of a delay when you get into that next gear before you wait, while you're waiting for the power to kick in. Also, there's a lot of rev hang. When you push in the clutch, it just seems like it takes forever for the RPMs to go down, which makes it very easy to drive just around town and commuting, but when you're trying to drive it harder, I'm sure that'll become something that I won't like so much. But it's also very easy to rev match this car when you're downshifting. You just get into the throttle a little bit, and it rev matches super easily, which is really nice. The seats in this car aren't quite as comfortable as I was expecting them to be. Judging by the shape and the contour of them, I thought they would be pretty nice. And the backrest is fine, but the bottom of the seat cushion, it feels like it's kind of short, and there isn't a lot of thigh support, and there's no way to adjust that. If you get one with power seats, it might have some adjustment there, but these manual ones don't, and there's no lumbar support that you can adjust. So I find that they're not super comfortable, but they're definitely better than the seats in my Accord. I just absolutely hated those seats.